Hi guys, Ross here and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can turn your hand lettering into a vector piece. Now if you didn't check out my previous tutorial, I essentially went over how you can scan in your hand lettering and remove the background from it. Now we're going to be using that technique today. As you'll see in a minute, I'm just going to drag in my piece of work quickly. And you can see this is a piece that I have removed the background from. So as I said, if you haven't checked out that video, I'll either put a pop-up on this video or it'll be in the description. Just go check that out. It's quite a short video, and then come back and we can work together on this. So at the moment we have this piece of hand lettering, but it isn't vectorized, which means if you wanted to use it for a logo for a client, for example, they're going to need to be able to scale that logo up and that piece of lettering to whatever size they may need. And now obviously at the moment it's a bitmap, it's a rasterized image file, and that means that if you scale it up too much it's going to become pixelated. So we're going to need to vectorize this, and we can use this using a technique called the image trace. Now the image trace is at the top of my Adobe Illustrator panel. It's along the top there, and if it's not displaying for you, you just want to go down to window and make sure you have image trace ticked. So with our image selected that we've brought into Adobe Illustrator, I'm just going to come up to the top and press image trace. Now, I've already got the panel up on the right hand side, but if you haven't, you're just going to hit that little icon to the left of where it says View Tracing Result, and that is going to open up the panel for you. By default, it's just going to have these simple settings here, but if you press the arrow next to Advanced, you can open that up and we have a few more settings to play with. So the first setting we have at the top is our threshold. Now this essentially adjusts how many pixels are identified, and the lower the threshold, the less pixels will be let through. So if we just reduce that a bit, and you can see less and less of our lettering is being shown. So dependent on what kind of style and what kind of look you're going for, you're going to want to play with this, and this will affect the lettering the most out of all the settings we're going to look at today. So I'm just going to bump this up to about 200 and we'll see how it's looking. So I'm quite happy with something like that, and it's personal preference. You can play with this for as long as you want, and obviously if it was for a client, then you're going to spend a lot more time, kind of looking at the fine details of this. So we're now going to go down to the advanced settings, and we can play with the paths, which is the first slider we can see. And again, this is going to affect the appearance, but not as much as the threshold slider. So the path slider essentially is going to adjust the amount of paths that are used in this piece of lettering. So if we go for a lower percentage, we're going to get smoother paths. Not necessarily smoother, but there's going to be less. So this could work one of two ways. It's going to make it smoother, or it's going to make it more jagged. This gives it quite a nice look, but I kind of want more of a rough look. By putting the paths up, we'll get more of that brush lettering and that rough look, which is what I'm trying to go for in this piece. We can then go down to the corners slider and adjust this, and that's just going to affect the corners of your lettering. So you're not going to see too much of a difference with that, but again, it's just the fine details, so you can mess with that a bit and see what you come up with. Again, this is going to affect each piece differently. Let's go down to the noise slider, and I always find that a lower pixel for noise gives it a more like brush look, because it fills in more of the details. As you can see there, it's added more pixels in and it's given it more of that gritty appearance. If we put it all the way up, you can see there it's a lot smoother. Still has that rough look to it, but like I said, I prefer having it lower, and again, this is all personal preference. So once you've got your lettering where you want it to be and it's looking okay, you can come up to the top again and press expand. Now this has now collected all that data and it has made anchor points out of them, so we can adjust and edit each and every single one of them. Now I'm not going to go too much into this, but I am going to show you how to remove little white holes such as in the letter R and the letter B. So if we press A on our keyboard, which is going to give us the direct selection tool, and we can then click on the white box for stars, delete that, and that's just going to get rid of the background. And then we're also going to come in and we're just going to click on one of the holes. I'm going to go for the top one inside the B, and that will just keep that selected. Now we don't want to delete that by itself, because then we're going to have to go through and delete all the others. So with that selected, we're going to come up to select along the top menu, same, and fill color. Now that is going to select everything which has been filled and has the same fill color. And if we then now press backspace or delete on your keyboard, now it's not going to look like anything's changed, but it's actually deleted those blocks of white. So if I now put a background in, for example, you'll be able to see that there is no fill anywhere, and we have a completely transparent background. Let me just fix that. There we go. So yeah, you can see that there's no white in our piece of lettering, where if I just undo it quickly and I show you what I looked like before I deleted them. I'm just going to drag a rectangle in again quickly. Maybe let's give it some colour. There you go. You can just see that it's got that white, those blocks of white in there. So if I just quickly show you that method again, so you're going to press A and you have your direct selection tool, and you're just going to press in one of the blocks of white, come up to select, same fill color, and then hit delete, and you can see it's got rid of all that. So this is now a vector object, and this means that we can scale it up to any size or shape. So we can shrink it as small as we want or as big as we want, and it's going to keep that crystal clear quality. So I hope you found today's video helpful, guys, and if you do have any suggestions for future videos, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. And let me know what you think of today's video, if you found it helpful, or if you have anything to share with other people. Sometimes there's some great feedback in the comment section where someone may know one way slightly quicker. I'm rambling on a bit now, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.